All right.
Our daily topic today is going to be around increasing client engagement through effective voicemails and emails. When leaving a message for a client, what is the likelihood that that client is going to return your call based off of the message that you left him? It's a lot about what you say and how you say it on that voicemail that is going to get that client to call you back. You want to make sure that you are giving a sense of urgency and importance. So when you're leaving those voicemails, you want to make sure you're avoiding the words like just. You never want to say, I'm just calling because I want to check on your program, or I'm just calling to get in touch with you. That right there takes the complete importance of your voicemail away. So you want to make sure to avoid those type of words. Some powerful voicemail tips and some things that you do want to make sure that you are doing on your voicemails when you're leaving them for your clients is that you're always providing them context. You are letting them know, why you're calling them. Your website is now live. I see that you've gotten 7 leads from your SEM program. You want to be able to tell them why you're calling them. You want to offer a clear value. So you want to let the client know what's in it for them to call you back. Why should they call you? What is your message telling them that puts that sense of urgency to them to pick up that phone and want to return that phone call? So you want to make sure that you're giving that. It's important we talk. Getting your feedback on your articles and topics will help us better your program. Or getting your feedback on your articles or topics is going to help us better represent your company the way you want it to be. When you bring that you in and you put it back on them, these business owners do a lot. They wear a lot of hats. They do a lot. And it is all about them. We all know that when we can get them talking on their conversations. So throw that you back in there. This is about you and your business and your feedback. You also want to tell them things like, if you're trying to complete a Google, tell them that. I need to complete your Google verification page. We need to complete this. This is why I'm calling you. You just want to make sure that you give them a clear value of why you're calling. Don't be afraid to ask for what you want either when you're calling them. I want to schedule time with you. It's important we talk. Your input is going to help us to better your program for you, put you in front of more potential clients. So don't be afraid to ask them for what you're calling for when you're leaving that voicemail. You always want to make sure that you give your contact information twice. They say it's best to give your contact information in the beginning of the call as well as the end of the call. So when you're calling and you're, hey Mark, it's Jamie with Vivial. My contact number is, and give them your telephone number right at the beginning of the phone call before you go into that context of your message and why you're trying to call them. That's going to give them the opportunity, if they don't want to listen to the whole message and they're going to delete it, at least you got your number out there in the beginning. You always want to make sure too that you project enthusiasm and energy. You always want to show them a little bit of your personality on your phone calls too. So you want to be personable, you want to be professional, but you want to show a little personality, again, to get them to call you back. So when you're calling them and you're giving them a little bit of information, use your tone and manner and make sure you're smiling on that voicemail, just like you would if you were actually on the phone with them, because they're going to be able to see that. They're going to be able to hear that. If you have a client that's unengaged and your voicemail sounds just as unengaged in their program as they are in their program, likelihood of them calling you back is pretty much slim to none. So you want to put that enthusiasm behind it, especially for those unengaged clients. You always want to be persistent. The 11% of your voicemails will get turned on the first voicemail that you leave. Second voicemail you leave, 22% will return it, and on the third, 33% will return it. So you want to be persistent to continue to leave those messages with that sense of urgency. You might even want to mention something that you've observed. A lot of our clients this time of the year, it's the holidays. Calling in that sense of urgency. I see that you guys are running a holiday of promotion. It's important we talk so that we have your information accurate, what you guys are doing for the holidays. Or it's important that we have your hours accurate. It looks like you have some hour changes. Put that importance behind it. Use the holidays at this time of the year to intrigue them to call you back. We'll get you in front of more potential clients. If you talk to me about your promotion, give them reasons to want to call you back. Another recommendation is listening to your voicemails. I challenge everybody to have one of their team leads pull a voicemail that they left for them and actually listen to that voicemail and ask yourself, would I call myself back? It's a good way to really see and understand how you sound to them on the other end of the line. You may leave your voicemail and you're a fast talker and you're used to it and you don't think about it, but when you hear that recording come back, you'll realize you talk so fast there's no way the client could have even understood you. You want to make sure too that use the person's name that you're calling when you're leaving that voicemail. Make that personal. Hi Mark, it's Jamie. I'm calling because blah, blah, blah with your telephone number. Do that in your ending of your call too. So when you're closing your call, tell them who you are again, give them your telephone number. Thanks Mark, I look forward to talking to you. You put that personalization on there, give them that first name, make them feel comfortable with calling you back on that call. And with that being said, does anybody want to share any tips that work best for them on any voicemails that they have left and they feel works well with getting calls returned? Anyone? Anyone on this beautiful Friday morning? We're about to hit the weekend? No? Chris?
I just think being really enthusiastic and having a lot of energy, because I know whenever someone leaves me a voicemail and they're really monotone, I don't really listen to it. So if you're just really excited and like, oh, thank you, like, have a great day, then they normally will respond better.
That's what I was going to say. No, I'm kidding. What I was going to say was I usually try one of two techniques. One, if I notice that their website's still the center design, I say, hey, you're eligible for a free upgrade on our website design. I'd love to talk to you about it. Give me a call, something like that. On the other end, sometimes I'll express concern. I'm concerned that we have your information inaccurate. I want to make sure that since we are pushing it out across the internet, that we want to make sure we're consistent with that. Please call me so we can confirm that. So it's either, hey, this is really exciting, or oh man, you better look out.
Awesome, I like that.
I always wish them like have a wonderful day or a wonderful weekend, or even if you know that like you're calling towards the end of the day on Friday, they've left for the day, midpoint of that, say, I know that you're not going to get this until after the weekend, so I hope you had a great weekend, that kind of thing.
Yeah, take it personal. Anyone else? With that being said, we'll let Christina tell us what the client experience means to her.
All right, so the client's experience for me just means, I think everyone said it, is going beyond for our client and really making sure they feel appreciative. I really like to read my clients, and I feel like I don't rush them, and I feel like when we get too much or they feel overwhelmed when I'm going over the product, I get to a good stopping point and ask them, like, do you still want to continue, or do you feel overwhelmed? And if they feel overwhelmed, then I schedule up a follow-up call either a couple days after, maybe a week after, to pick up where we left off and really go back into the product. So then that way they can kind of take a breather and absorb everything that I went into. And just from an IM perspective, I'm working with these clients in detail and I know we all are, but in like 60 days where they're blowing up my phone asking questions because they're like, how do I get back into the dashboard? How do I get to see my search engine marketing dashboard? All these questions, and I get to know them because I don't want just my call to be like a quick, like, whether it's just a 20-minute to an hour call, how to go over something. I want to see how their day is going. Or I have a client whose mother-in-law was in the hospital after getting into a really serious bad car accident, so I like to follow up with her to see how she's doing because she's a big part of helping with the business that they started. So it's really just for me getting to know my clients and really showing that I care for them. And also what I like to do, and I know Jamie's done it, is following up with the sales rep, giving them a phone call after if they want to speak to catch them up on how my onboarding went or how any call went. Even sending them an email how it went, because right now I have a lot of sales reps who want to know how the onboardings went with my clients. And getting the sales rep involved and referencing them, I feel like it makes it a stronger team and we're willing to work together and making sure this client has the best experience with our company. I think it shows the client as well that we're willing to work as a team. And something I like to do, I really do pay close attention to detail. If anyone knows me, I'm OCD, and I like to really fine-comb tooth go through everything with a fine-comb tooth and make sure I know what I'm talking about with the client and show that I did research on their business, so then that way they're like, oh, I don't have to repeat myself 5 million times on what I do. So that's kind of
Yeah. Okay, so tip of the day, make sure every voicemail that you leave includes energy, enthusiasm, and a sense of urgency. You do want to make sure you keep your voicemail short. Kind of forgot that little piece. They should be between 30 seconds and a minute. Any longer than that, they're not going to listen. So just throwing that one out there. And then the contest for today is Christina and the challenged AC must submit their best voicemail left today, utilizing the tips review. It's Lowry.
Oh, pick again.
No, don't pick again.
Pick again. Oh, put him back. Put him back in the bag.
Oh, here, I'll hold him so you don't grab him again.
Third time's the charm.
Amanda.
Oh, he's gone back in. No, I don't think so. And then today, too, you guys, when we go back, just have another little 5-minute huddle, go over what we talked about today, your best practices for your emails and voicemails that you're leaving with your team leads like we did yesterday. Thank you, and everyone have a great weekend and happy Friday.